Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our journey to 250,000 subscribers. We're almost there, thanks to you. So if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, but more importantly, share it with a friend. Because I want to talk to you now about last night when Trump was in Duluth, Georgia. Vice President Harris was at CNN, the town hall, where Trump was invited to go, but of course, we all know he chose not to. And so instead, he went to this rally in Georgia. Now, this is what Kamala Harris had to say. Play that clip.
Mention, by the way, again, Donald Trump should be here tonight to talk with you and answer your questions. He's not. He refused to come. But
Meanwhile, we all know why he chose not to. Because he cannot, not because he doesn't want to, he cannot answer a single question where they're not going to be fact-checking him. And with 12 days left, he has no interest in basically somebody like Anderson Cooper or Kamala Harris exposing him for being the fraud that he is. But meanwhile, in Georgia, in good old Duluth, Georgia, Trump is talking about how Kamala has no clue about the economy. Play that clip.
Dude, nobody knows who the hell Harris is. It's the weirdest thing, isn't it? So you have to say Kamala. Under Kamala and her economy, millions of Americans, she has no idea about an economy. She's not a smart person. She's a low IQ individual. She is. She's a low IQ person.
It's great. Nobody knows who the vice president, the current vice president of the United States is. Nobody knows who the former senator, right, from California is. It's amazing how quiet even the crowd got. But here's something that's very interesting too. And it's why he refused to go to CNN to have that town hall. Had he said this, what Kamala would have turned around and said is that most economists, and I think that they polled like 27 economists, and I think it was 22 of the 27, think that inflation, interest rates, and deficits would all be higher under the policies of Donald Trump and the policies that he would pursue in a second administration than those that are currently being proposed by Vice President Harris. And again, that's by a survey conducted by the Wall Street Journal. Not by me, simply because I want to say it. By the Wall Street Journal. They spoke to 27 economists. And these economists all say inflation deficits will be higher under Trump. I mean, this is just factual. So next, I want to turn around and I want to show you something, all right, where Trump turns around and says that Kamala can't put two sentences together. I mean, talk about projection. Play this clip.
But we are not running against Kamala. She means nothing. She is purely a vessel. She can't put two sentences together. She can't do it.
Right. We don't hear Kamala talking about the weave, right? Where you're talking about electricity, boats, sharks, which one you'd rather get electrocuted or eaten by a shark, windmills. You're not talking about Haitians that are eating cats and dogs, and you're not talking about people from the Congo coming through Venezuela or our country under siege. Not only can Trump not put two sentences together, he can't put two sentences together that aren't hateful, divisive, inaccurate, more like just out and outright lies. So it's very funny, if you think about it, how poorly even Trump is projecting his own personal inadequacies onto Kamala Harris. But then Trump turns around and says that Kamala was the worst vice president pick in America's history. I mean, that's ironic, right? Coming from him, especially when his pick, of course, is Shady Vance. Play this clip.
You got both of them. I don't know who the hell is worse. Well, she did one thing that's very smart in the world of politics. She got herself the worst person possible to be vice president. You understand that? Worst. So bad that they'd probably leave her. I don't know. And by the way, how good is J.D. Vance? How good is J.D.
You see what I'm saying? Did you see how I just set that one up for you? Shady Vance is hands down the worst pick that Donald Trump could possibly have gone with. And it was a pick that was referred to him, of course, by Don Jr. and Peter Thiel. That's at least what's been reported. That's not who he even wanted to go with. He wanted to go with Nikki Haley. And then I wouldn't be able to say that. And not that I'm saying that Tim Walz is not a great pick for her. By the way, of the four individuals, Kamala, Tim, Trump, Shady, Tim Walz actually has the highest favorability. And you know who has the least? Shady Vance. Yeah, it's hard to imagine. So the way it goes, believe it or not, is that Tim Walz has the highest favorability, followed then by Kamala, followed then by Trump, and then followed by Shady Vance. I mean, he has the lowest favorability of all four. So what did Trump do? Knowing that Shady Vance is so unpopular, knowing that he is the worst vice presidential pick in U.S. history, projects it. That's just all that he's doing. He knows. Then he goes on, of course, because he has to keep compounding it. Remember when I had once said to you, like Stalin, the more that you continue to spew the lie, the more that the lie becomes the truth? Here's what Trump says about Tim Walz, calling him a sicko. Play that clip.
And you can't even say, well, let's go to the vice president, because he is really a sicko, right? Remember he called J.D. Vance and I weird? We're not weird. We're very solid people. He's a weird dude, that guy. He's always pumping his heart, like he's got...
Yeah, again, right? We're talking about pure projection. Trump can't get over the fact that Tim Walz calling him a weirdo and calling Shady Vance a weirdo, and that going viral. Trump can't get over it. This is the immature person who wants to be president of the United States, the thin-skinned, orange-crusted Mandarin Mussolini. Now, if you're not bored to fucking tears listening to this shit, then I'm kind of like saying, really? What do you think? You think that this is an exciting rally going on there? The shit talk? How about talk about one policy, just one, that you intend to bring forth? Not these generalizations, one specific policy. Engage with the crowd. But the crowd got so fucking bored that they just started to leave. And by the way, look at the crowd size. You can see open seats everywhere. Play this clip. Adios, right? Who's not bored from this sort of bullshit? It's again the same thing over and over. Divisiveness, nasty rhetoric, this one, shitting on America, shitting on this person. We're all just tired of it. All right. Then Trump says that it should be illegal for Democrats to say that they should lock him up. Seriously? Who's the king of the lock him up chant? Play that clip.
Who, by the way, said yesterday about me, quote, we got to lock him up. I told you. He said, then he denied it. I didn't mean that. Because he's not legally allowed to say. He can't say that. But I've been telling you that. It's election interference. This is all it is. He said, we got to lock him up. This is illegal and should cause cases. I mean, look, think of it.
Again, remember what I also told you about accordion hands. Whenever the accordion hands start going, you know that he's lying and he's just projecting. All right. And this is really kind of funny that he's even bringing this up, because here's a clip of Trump in 2016 and again in 2020 directing people to keep chanting, lock up Hillary Clinton. Play this clip.
Wait, crooked, you should lock her up, I'll tell you. Lock her up is right. I agree.
Yeah. Of course, it should be illegal for Democrats to say it, but not for him. Remember what we were talking about in other episodes, Trump being a fascist, wanting to be the supreme leader, the king, the monarch, the Führer, the ruler? Really? Isn't the law supposed to apply equally? So if it's illegal for Democrats to turn around to say they should lock him up, and by the way, factually, they're accurate because that's what's going to happen come the end of November when he goes for sentencing before Judge Juan Merchan in the Manhattan DA criminal case of 34 guilty counts. They're not going to have to say lock him up. They're going to lock him up. Anyway, the guy is so stupid. You're talking about there's a handful of swing states that are really, really important. Does Trump care? No, he doesn't. He's got to stay on his own flawed message, and he proceeds to shit on Detroit, a city in a major swing state. This makes no sense politically. It makes no sense. Play that clip.
I have a lot of companies moving. You watch Detroit. You know, for 40 years ago, I've been hearing about Detroit's coming back. Never came back.
Again, he's shitting on a major swing state. Why? When you're 12 days out from an election and you need not just every vote, you need every swing state. Yeah, that's right. That makes perfect sense. Shit on Detroit. So look, finally, he turns around and he wants to start recording all of his conversations. You actually can't make this stuff up. By the way, the last thing this guy wants to do is record any of his conversations because they're unhinged and they're, to steal Tim Walz's line, they're weird. Play this clip.
Every time I think about I want to tape every conversation. The problem is then I start thinking about Richard Nixon did that. And I say, let's do without the tape.
Yeah, smart. Let's do without the tape because everything that comes out of this guy's mouth is either, and you've heard me say this before, it's either racist, sexist, misogynistic, it's xenophobic, it's homophobic, it's transphobic, it's anti-Semitic, it's Islamophobic. You think he really wants this coming out? Every time he opens his mouth, he says something. Do you remember when he was being taped by, what's his name? I forget, for a book? The book Rage? Seriously? Everything that he said fell into the category that I just, look, we have 12 days. What we need to do is be vigilant, and vigilant at the polls. That's where we have to take the Republicans apart. We have to destroy Trumpism. So check out vote.org. Make sure that you're registered to vote, and make sure that you vote Harris Walz 2024. Hey everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.